The following is an Outdoor Channel original production.
Wild animals and wild places. They're more than a picture. They're inspiration, excitement, and adventure. Patrolling and protecting these natural resources is a first-class band of peace officers. These are the Wardens, dedicated to the preservation of our great outdoors.
I need to talk to you about Wednesday.
What happened Wednesday?
Well, that's what I need to find out.
This week on Wardens,
It became pretty apparent to me that it was probably bought after the deer was killed. Guys, there's quite a bit wrong here. Go ahead.
We got a pretty good spot near the corner of Calcut, Kearney Road. 3 food plots with pumpkins, quite a bit of bait. And looking at the residence that it's probably associated with, we did see individuals out at that residence.
in Michigan's Lower Peninsula, baiting for deer is illegal in 4 northeast counties and 5 central counties.
Look at all the corn spread out.
The bait prohibition in these areas are to help prevent the spread of wildlife diseases. And in District 3, where 2 of the counties are located, conservation officers utilize a plane and spotters to find areas that are illegally baited. Without a tip or aerial surveillance, some of these bait piles may never be found.
That's more than we've been seeing in past.
Okay, we're coming up to a baited area that the plane seen. They spotted it earlier. They said they want to walk us into it because there was people outside of the residence when they were flying around watching them. So they wanted us to address it now. They're going to try to walk us in there.
Conservation Officer Bill Webster is following the directions from pilot Kevin Jacobs as he attempts to locate the baited areas in a rural section of Alpena County.
We have 3 separate food plots with bait in them.
Clear. There is a blue UTV parked next to the house.
Okay, very good. That might be it.
Air 5, was there any vehicles here earlier?
I didn't notice any other vehicles other than the UTV. What I'll say is it's probably a different property, but I have another pickup truck back towards one of the bait sites, but I think it's across the fence, it's on the neighbor's side.
All right, I see a pickup truck down to the west there. Is that going to be pretty close to one of the bait sites?
Affirmative, straight north of him, but on your side of the fence is one of them.
Hello, sir.
And then there's 2 more.
Hey, we had the plane flying over and they located some bait out on the property, it sounds like. You got some bait out for the deer?
250 miles to the south in Michigan's District 8. Officer Webster's brother Shane is also working the opening week of the firearm deer season.
During deer season, I like to stop at our local processors. I like to work alongside them. Part of it going in there early in the firearm deer season kind of gives me a quick glance as to how the season's going thus far. But part of it is I'm also going to look at tags. Processors are required to keep records, but they don't necessarily look at every detail on a tag that comes in on a deer.
Got another problem?
I think it'll be easily handled, though.
While checking tags at a local processor, CO Webster notices one deer was dropped off just 30 minutes after the tag was purchased.
This deer was way to the back, so I knew it came in early that morning. And then I saw that it had been bought earlier that morning. Kind of became pretty apparent to me that it was probably bought after the deer was killed. Obviously, you're required to have your license when you go hunting, not afterwards.
This is a common violation, and Webster goes to get the story from the license holder.
need to talk to you about Wednesday.
What happened Wednesday?
Well, that's what I need to find out. Where were you between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. on Wednesday?
Wednesday, I was probably at work.
Probably at work? Where do you work?
We do construction.
Construction? Okay.
Did a little further digging there, checked the person's license history, and realized that was the first deer license this gentleman had ever purchased in his life. He had never done any hunting, any fishing of any sort before that, so we knew it was going to be a good interview.
All right, well, the deal is you dropped a deer off on Wednesday, right? When did you shoot that?
Tuesday?
Tuesday? Okay.
Yeah. Why?
Okay, well, I think you're clicking in your head what happened, so why do you think I'm here?
All right. I didn't shoot the deer.
You didn't shoot the deer?
No.
Okay. Who shot the deer?
It's my uncle.
Your uncle? All right. Why is your tag on the deer?
Because he asked me to get it.
Okay.
When I was 12 years old, I told my parents I wanted to be a conservation officer, and I chased that dream.
Bill Webster knew he wanted to be a conservation officer at a young age. His younger brother Shane didn't know it until he saw his big brother Bill in action.
My brother didn't decide until he was in college. I got the job 2 years prior to him getting the job, and then once he seen me doing it and heard me telling stories, he's like, I think I want to do that now. So he followed in my footsteps and also joined.
This has been my brother's dream since he was a kid. And partly when I started to get interested in law enforcement, I didn't want to kind of step on his toes, so we talked a lot about it. I knew I wanted something I'd be proud of, and honestly, having seen him go into law enforcement, I knew I was proud of him, and I thought it was something I could do as well. We talked at length about it, and he encouraged me.
The brothers have had contact with the same people despite patrolling areas more than 4 hours apart.
One time I was up in Alpena County and had stopped at a gas station. This guy came up to me and wanted to talk to me about this case that obviously my brother had handled, and he kept swearing up and down that I was the officer that had been there, and I was like, no, hey, it wasn't me. So we get that. We look a little bit alike. He's a couple years older than I am, but we do look a lot alike, so people get confused sometimes.
It's funny because we've actually checked the same people before, and he checked them in Jackson, I've checked them up here in Alpena. And when the people look at us, they're like, man, you look awfully familiar. And I said, well, have you fished in Jackson before? And they said, yes. And I said, well, my brother checked you.
And we call each other all the time, bounce off ideas for cases, how we're going to investigate things, and it's been great.
Back in District 3.
Are the deer hanging?
No, there's one hanging the buck.
One of the bucks?
Yeah.
Did you get any does?
No, not
does?
yet.
C.O. Webster and Jonathan Skilba head into a barn to check out some deer that may have been taken over bait.
Right here. That's this one.
Oh, yeah. Whose was this?
That one was got on a farm permit.
Okay. Crop damage?
Yeah.
Okay. You see that one? That must have been earlier in the year, eh?
Yeah.
It's been stinking. And then this was the spike.
Yeah.
And then this is the 5.
Yeah. That's
Okay.
the one they got last night.
Hello.
This is my brother.
Oh, you were at the church.
Yes, I was. Doing the talk?
Yeah.
Yep. That was me. You shot a heck of a buck on a crop damage permit, eh?
Yeah.
What month was he shot in?
October. No, it wasn't crop damage. Disease control.
Oh, it's DCP?
Disease control.
Yeah. Well, some people just,
They forget?
Lump them in.
they don't know the difference.
Okay.
You know, like, I know
Right.
you do.
Yep.
And they don't pay to turn the head in because that was into September.
On a DCP tag.
Huh?
Did you send in the DCP tag and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
That got sent in for it.
The state of Michigan offers disease control permits under certain circumstances, but hunters cannot keep the antlers. The entire head must be turned in for testing.
On the DCP tags, you have to turn in everything.
Well, they didn't turn the
Everything.
heads in because nobody's at the office.
That's
Well, that's what the box is for.
Yeah, but they say put them in the box. I've heard you put them in the box that time of year.
They pick them up.
Shows up and picks them up.
They make a run.
The whole point of the DCP is to
Yeah.
test for disease, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And that's how they test for the
getting the
disease.
permit.
And that's what they test, is the head. You know? Do you still have your permits?
No.
Do you have any of them left?
The tags went to
Who did the processing?
who did the processing. Yeah.
Okay. And then what about the tag that was supposed to be sent to Lansing?
It got sent in.
It got sent in?
Yeah.
Okay. But the one with the head,
There's only two.
right?
The one
So the one with the body, you left the one with the body?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, let's grab your tag. Do we have your ex-brother-in-law? I think it's ex-brother-in-law's tag, right? Yep.
I don't know if you left it or not.
Okay. We'll need to see that too, or get a hold of them, get them back out here with it.
With 2 untagged deer and the DCP issue, Officer Webster notifies pilot Kevin Jacobs, and they will be investigating this site for a while.
We're going to be here for a bit. If you want to go ahead and start working toward Mount Morenci and just start marking the rest, we'll be all set here.
Okay, copy that. I think we're going to land at Hillman just for 15 minutes or so, stretch our legs, and then we'll call you when we're back in service.
Clear?
And then he goes to check on the bait that was spotted from the plane.
He's seen it, so we're here looking into it, you know. Do you know which ones the guys were hunting out of, though? I mean, it'd save us time if we go back there and walk, or if you want to just take me for a ride and we'll
go for a ride?
we'll do that.
Go for a ride.
Okay, we'll do that. Yep, I got this. Just be quicker than walking everything.
Don't worry about the fill of the pumpkin, but
In Michigan's District 8, Conservation Officer Shane Webster discovered a deer at a local processor that had been dropped off just 30 minutes after the tag was purchased. He talked to the tag owner, who said his uncle actually shot the deer.
Do you know what kind of buck it was? I mean, point, size, anything? No.
That's not my.
Okay.
Never hunted. It wasn't my.
He just said he just didn't have another tag, so he wanted you to get him one?
Yeah.
Okay.
In Michigan, you can't tag a deer you shot with someone else's tag, and you can't shoot a deer for someone else. So now Officer Webster goes to talk to the uncle who admits to shooting a second deer with his nephew's tag.
If you want to go out and you want to buy an antlerless tag and shoot a doe and give it to somebody, that's fine. You know, you want to donate a deer to somebody else, that's fine. But it's got to be your name.
Okay,
it's got to be your tag. Because the problem we have right now is that you shot 2 bucks. All right, when you shoot 2 bucks in Michigan, one of those 2 bucks has got to meet an antler point requirement, at least 4 on one side.
4 on one side, right.
So you've got a 6 and a 4, so we've got a problem with that because one hunter, you know, we got to look at you as an individual.
Oh, I know.
So if we allowed everyone to do it that way, obviously the whole system would crash, essentially.
Okay.
You know, everybody would be doing it. We'd have young bucks dying everywhere. We'd have anything left.
Yeah.
That's why you have to tag a deer with your tag that you killed.
Okay.
And then that one of those 2 bucks you take has to meet that requirement.
Okay.
Makes it a little bit
makes
harder.
sense. It makes
you know,
sense,
but it makes sense. If you're going to kill 2 antlered deer in Michigan, you've got your restricted and your regular combination deer tags. The restricted license requires that it be at least 4 antler points on one side. So typically if that was side by side an 8 point, but it could be a 4 point if there's no other side, but at least 4 on one side. And the problem there was the deer he had killed prior to that did not meet that requirement, so this second deer would have been illegal even if it was his deer.
The deer is confiscated and donated to Michigan Sportsmen Against Hunger, a volunteer organization that works with charities to provide families in need with game meat.
Or unless you guys just want to flip it into the donate bin.
Yeah, I mean, we'll donate it.
Okay.
it's all about channeling precious resources that we have into making a better community.
In 2016, more than 23,000 pounds were donated.
That benefited 36 separate organizations that created over 113,000 hot meals for people in dire need in the community.
And we serve about 1,000 families a month, especially during the holiday season and peak hunting season. Really, we might even get more than that.
Bridget Brown is a director for Gleaners Community Food Bank of southeastern Michigan. She says the partnership with Sportsmen Against Hunger has many benefits.
Protein is the most expensive product that we can get our hands on, and so having venison is huge because of that fact alone. Fresh venison is probably the hottest item. When we do get it in, it goes instantly. So it's pretty cool to get in here and see all the families really appreciate it, and we try to teach them how to cook it if they don't know how, because that's not always a common thing for people to get their hands on necessarily if they're not hunters themselves.
Deer can be donated at licensed facilities, and all processing costs are free.
But it's a really good thing to do for the community. It helps feed a lot of people that could use the meat.
When we take it and tell them that we're going to be donating that to a family that can utilize it and eat it, or the soup kitchen, it kind of takes that sting away from that initial ticket, and they go, okay, well, as long as it's going to be given to somebody that can use it, I'm okay with that. That's a big, big response that we get.
Michigan Conservation Officer Shane Webster's brother, Bill, is also in the middle of an investigation during the state's opening week of firearm deer season. A plane used to patrol for bait in illegal areas spotted some on this piece of land.
With that bait that we found out there, you couldn't see it from the road. We had no complaints about that bait. That was a free fly the pilot was doing. He actually located that on his own. And, you know, from the air. And without having that pilot up in the air and looking at that stuff, we would have never found it.
Officer Webster found 2 deer taken that weren't tagged. And he found the head of a deer with the disease control permit. Those heads are supposed to be turned in for testing.
You can shoot bucks, okay, but the whole animal head has to be turned in, antlers and all. Because what they don't want is people going out and monopolizing in September and August on the big bucks and shooting them all.
On top of that, Officer Webster found bait at multiple spots on the property.
There was 50 gallons of bait at each site. You could have easily filled up a 50-gallon drum with bait. So they're pretty heavy. Guys, there's quite a bit wrong here. You know, I mean, the licenses have to go on the deer immediately. You know, we call it before you do anything else. I mean, you want to do the victory dance because you shot a deer and stuff, but before, you know, you take pictures, and before you get your hands bloody, the big one, you know, gutting that thing out, you got to put the tag on it. With your deer that you have there, okay, your license, I'm pretty sure he probably explained it to you, it's not, you don't have a license to take that deer, okay?
Yeah.
So we're going to end up taking that deer from you, okay? We have to, because you don't have a license for it.
Okay. So what do you want done out there now?
With the bait?
Yeah.
It's all got to get picked up.
Okay.
All of it. Picked up, cleaned up, and you can't hunt those locations until the bait's gone.
Okay.
Okay? I mean, you can hunt other areas of the property, but it can't be visible to the bait. You get what I'm saying? So if you want to go sit underneath a tree out there, there's plenty of room without baiting.
I'll just go pick it up and haul it up.
Okay. Well, can you give me a hand? I'll pull my truck over there. Give me a hand loading up the rest of the stuff over there. That 5-point that's left. Oh, excuse me.
After loading up the confiscated deer, Officers Webster and Skilba discuss how to handle this situation.
They both put out bait. They put the whole bait on the property. You know, and then they got that DCP deer, that big 10-point that they should have turned in the head on, which they didn't because it's a big buck. And then you got the APR violation, so. What do you think?
I could write for the APR violation and place bait.
Yeah. And then I'm going to do the DCP one and bait. And we'll let the rest of this stuff slide.
The landowner was ticketed for baiting and violating the disease control permit rules. He was fined $772. His brother was ticketed for baiting and violating the antler point restriction. He was fined $595. The third hunter, who had taken the 5-point buck, was also ticketed for violating the antler point restriction. He was fined $215. The 5-point was confiscated, as was the processed meat from the spike.
I know you guys are going to get that stuff cleaned up.
Yeah.
You're honest guys, so we won't have this problem again. Right?
This year.
Come on. Oh, you're killing me, man. Don't do that. Let's not do this again.
This right here is the reason for the operation today. Got a complaint. This happened 2 weeks ago. Middle of the day, someone came out, shot a deer, drove out here, realized it wasn't a buck, turned around and drove off. Most times we see this, the head's cut off because it's a nice buck that was killed, and people have no intentions of taking the meat or anything. They just want the antlers.
In Michigan's District 6, conservation officers are constantly fighting the battle against poaching. Working with the landowner where the dead doe was found, a group of officers set out on the first Sunday of the firearm deer season to use a deer decoy in hopes of catching people road hunting.
Backstory of this, there's been some trespassing going on, people stealing cameras, tree stands. A couple weeks ago, someone actually shot a deer in the middle of the day and left it lay. So it kind of got this complaint and thought it'd be a good idea to set it up. There's no houses other than where you guys are gonna be stationed at. No other houses on the road, so it's perfect. It's great spot, one way in or 2 ways in, and it's one road, so easy enough.
The decoy is set up in an alfalfa field on private property. Officers station themselves at each end of the road, allowing them to close in on any potential suspect and shutting down any escape routes. The operator of the decoy usually sets up on the other side of the road, concealed as best as possible, while CO Josh Russell gets set up in the ditch with the controls for the decoy. CO Ken Lowell hides out at one end of the street, using an abandoned barn as cover.
A lot of times it's just being in the right spot at the right time and having the right people drive by. The decoys look real. I mean, they are actual mounts of deer with deer antlers, real antlers most of the time. So they look legit. It's just a matter of having the right guy at the right time to want to take those deer. A lot of time it is a trespass issue because a lot of this is private ground around here, and some of these rural roads that run through private ground where there's not a lot of houses make an ideal spot for a guy that maybe he's not having the luck he thought he should have somewhere else and picks a day to cruise around. They got to get their deer while they can, and that's usually why these decoys work.
In Michigan's District 3, it's a slow start for CO Mark Depew. But out on patrol mid-morning, he comes across a successful hunter with a deer on the back of his ORV.
Just wait there. Just wait there. Did you shoot the deer?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you have your ID with you?
It's actually, my ID is actually in my camper.
Okay, I'm gonna quick look at his rack. You got him this morning?
Yeah.
Okay, good for you. You know you gotta have a helmet?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I do know that.
All right. You don't have your ID though?
It's right here next door.
Okay. All right, I'll just write down the information.
Anybody else getting them around here?
A few. Nothing real heavy or big yet, but...
While checking this hunter's info, Officer Depew gets a call on a deer hit by a car.
Okay, sounds good. We'll head that way.
So he issues a warning to the ORV driver for not having a helmet.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty good fine. Okay, thank you.
And heads to the scene of the accident.
This is an off-duty cop called, and I believe he hit a deer, and then dispatched it, and then he's calling to see if we want the deer, and I have a lot of people that would like a deer. I have kind of a short list of people that will take a deer, so that are in need of it. So we'll just pick the deer up and then continue on. Did you hit it?
No, I didn't.
How you been?
Good. No, I was going to go take my wife and mom to lunch. And,
Yeah.
I saw a lane here, so I come back and I'm trying to get up, so I just
Okay.
popped in a couple times.
Perfect.
Just so we didn't run out and cause you guys more of a...
Yeah, I got a couple people that need them.
That's perfect.
Heck yeah.
That works.
Unless you want it. Do you want it?
No,
Sure.
absolutely not. I'm good. I'm
Okay.
I'm perfectly good with it.
Okay.
So.
The deer meat will be donated to a needy family in the area, so it won't go to waste. Deer decoy operations in Michigan are run for a very specific reason. Either officers in the area have received complaints of shining, shots fired after dark, or for trespassing. In Michigan's District 6, officers are getting a mechanical decoy set up. There have been reports of poaching in the area, and a dead doe was left on this private property earlier in the season. Plus, the area they have chosen to use the decoy is pretty isolated. Any potential road hunters will probably feel like no one is watching them.
If there's no houses, people can't see you, can't hear you, they think they're safe.
CO Josh Russell takes up his position in the brush as he is the decoy operator.
And now we wait.
And CO Ken Lowell finds a hiding spot at the end of the road.
If we pull out too far, we're going to give ourselves away to anybody cruising down the road, and we don't want to be visible.
It doesn't take long before someone drives down the deserted road, stops, and gets out of their vehicle.
Sounds like we got a vehicle rolling down. We'll see if they drive through. Which way is he heading? And do you want to blow the decoy if he didn't shoot?
He didn't shoot, but he stepped out of the vehicle, blasted it, and then drove down the road.
Okay, we'll try to intercept. How you doing, sir? Good. Any weapons in the truck?
No.
No guns?
No.
Okay, any open beers?
Yeah.
You have an open beer? Okay. We're just out looking for guys. We've had some road hunting issues out in this area. Obviously, that's probably not going to be you, but you do have open beer. We're running an operation down here. This is a known area for road hunting, and you cruise through here. Did you get out of your vehicle just a little bit ago?
I had to go to the bathroom, yeah.
Okay, so you can't urinate on a public road, right? That's illegal. So we're gonna check it out. As long as you don't have any wants and warrants, we're probably not gonna haul you in today, but we are gonna deal with the beer. Can't have an open beer. The beer can stay in your container there or in your box, but as far as anything else goes, you have to. Okay. All right, just hang out for us. All right.
The driver of this truck didn't have a weapon. He said he was just out looking for deer, but he did pick a bad spot to stop and relieve himself. Officer Lowell writes him a ticket for having an open beer in the truck, which is a misdemeanor. After that, it was back to his hiding spot to wait. In District 3, officers Mark Depew and Nick Torsky notice a rifle on the front seat of the truck when the driver slowed down to talk.
Good. You have your ID with you and stuff?
Yeah, let me take it out here.
Huh? Yeah.
It's loaded. I just left.
You're smoking dope too.
Huh?
Come on, man.
A little.
Where is it?
The firearm deer season in Michigan lasts 16 days and is one of the most heavily patrolled times of the year for conservation officers. In District 3, two officers have a hunter pulled over who had a loaded rifle on his front seat and smelled of marijuana.
Come on, man. Where is it?
Yeah, a little bit right here. That's it.
Is that what you've been smoking?
Yeah.
Just now?
Oh, yeah.
What do you got your loaded gun in the car for?
Because I'm hunting here and I'm camping right there.
Okay. This is yours too?
Yeah.
A search of the truck turns up more marijuana.
This is yours too? I thought you said you didn't have any more.
I didn't think I had any.
So Officer Depew administers a field sobriety test.
Just to make sure that you're not intoxicated. Okay, what I want you to do is follow the tip of my finger with your eyes only, okay? You can pick up whichever leg you want, I don't care.
I'm stiff, I've been sitting all morning.
I am too, I've been sitting all morning too. What I want you to do is put your legs together like I am right now. Put your hands down by your side, and I want you to hold a leg of your own choosing, whichever leg you want, it doesn't matter to me, 4 to 6 inches off the ground, and hold it there for 15 seconds. While doing that, I want you to count 1001, 1002, 1003, up to 15. Do you understand? Okay, whenever you're ready.
2010, 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016.
Okay, go ahead and have a seat in your car. We got that gun, right?
CO Depew determines there is not enough evidence to support an arrest for driving under the influence, but the driver is ticketed for possession of marijuana and for having a loaded rifle in his vehicle.
But what's going to happen is you're going to get a ticket and you're going to have to show up to district court, okay? You have to respond to that within 10 days. If you don't, they'll put a warrant out for you. You have 2 misdemeanors, okay? Both of them are big misdemeanors. The possession of marijuana and a loaded firearm. Because they're, Otsego County will go statewide for a warrant, okay? They don't do the 25-mile pickup. They will come and get you, and then you get charged for all the mileage, the officer's time, and everything. So word of the wise, just show up, okay? And I'm giving you that benefit of the doubt because otherwise I'd take you to jail, okay?
Getting tips from the public is an important part of a CO's job.
We are in the Report Out Poaching Hotline, or RAP room.
And for nearly 40 years, the state of Michigan has had their Report All Poaching, or RAP hotline.
So if we got a tip, the dispatchers will take the call. They'll contact the conservation officer that's within that county or area and give them the information so that they can respond.
Dispatchers receive all manner of complaints, which they pass on to officers.
The good cases usually come from complaints. It's not typical that you stumble into something.
One such call came in on the second day of duck season.
DNR Communications, law enforcement, this is Autumn. How can we help you this morning?
There's some guys shooting, I dare say, a mile south of us. Not only did they shoot before shooting time, but they haven't stopped shooting at all. And I can only imagine they might be hunting a baited fight. I mean, they would shoot for 15 minutes straight.
A RAP room dispatcher was able to get officers to respond to the complaint in about 4 minutes.
And said, hey, I think this is some really great information. Got it to the officers. They get down there, and then they have this rather astounding case.
Officers Chris Simpson and Dave Rogers found 4 individuals with nearly 60 ducks, all taken over about 200 pounds of corn. Baiting for waterfowl in Michigan is illegal, and the daily bag limit is 6. The 4 paid over $20,000 in restitution, fines, and costs.
It was an unusual case because not only did they bait the pond, but they exceeded the bag limit, and it was eye-opening how quick it happened. You know, had Officer Rogers not been out that morning, there's a good chance they would have been gone by the time I even arrived on scene.
The RAP room received over 36,000 phone calls in 2016 and now accepts text messages. It's an integral part of stopping people from breaking the law.
There's a sense of pride there when you know that you're actually making a difference.
It's essential that people call when you hear something, say something. In Michigan's District 6, officers have a deer decoy set up on private property.
CO Josh Russell is manning the controls.
So I'm just trying to give them a little bit of movement, not too much, because then they think, okay, something's really going on, but just enough to keep their attention.
While a group of COs, including Ken Lowell, are hiding nearby, ready to close in on anyone taking a shot. Shooting a decoy is a hefty fine. In addition to fines and court costs, there could also be restitution for damage done to the decoy. Near the end of their shift, the truck stops and the hunter gets out.
Did you say there's a truck between us?
He's in front of his truck, where they're working.
Is he looking in the field?
Do you want me to approach him?
Yeah, stop him if you can. Do you shoot at the buck? I think we got one. Go ahead. Conservation officer.
Sounds like they had a vehicle pull up. A guy got out of the vehicle. Sounds like he did shoot the decoy or at the decoy, but he wasn't in his vehicle. But depending on who it is, likely does not have permission to hunt there, so we're gonna go see what we got.
Stay in the vehicle, stay in the vehicle. Yes, he did. What's going on, fellas?
We were hunting that property over here.
You're hunting what property? This property?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's his property.
Okay, and then saw the deer and shot at it?
Yeah.
Yes? Okay, where's the gun?
Head down that way. Over here.
Right over there?
I was out of the vehicle.
Okay. Okay, well, where's the rifle at? Do you guys have permission to shoot on this property?
What?
Do you know the landowner over here?
We told each other that we could hunt each other's land.
Really?
He has a blind down at the end of the property.
What's the landowner's name?
You know, we just had talked to each other and said that we could use.
If you talk to him but you don't have his name,
yeah.
You don't know his name, but you've spoke to him about permission?
Right.
Okay.
The hunter says he has permission from the landowner, but after Officer Russell calls the landowner to verify, the hunter says he has not spoken to the landowner.
Just spoke to the landowner. We got people from the neighboring property. He wants to press charges for wreck trespass. So you knew you weren't supposed to shoot on the property then, is what I'm getting at.
Right, yeah.
Okay, all right.
Well, I knew that I didn't have official permission. Back in the old days, before the original farmer sold the property. And then there's also Christensen property on the other side, and all three of us had given each other permission to hunt on this land.
Originally, but not since the new landowner. Okay.
But now that's been years ago.
Okay, gotcha.
The hunter also says he stepped away from the truck to shoot. The CO finds his casing 10 to 12 feet from the truck, verifying that part of his story.
Good work finding that, dude. Keep that.
Him walking out and actually stepping foot on the property and shooting saves him another ticket because you can't lean on the vehicle and fire from the vehicle.
So he's ticketed for trespassing and not shooting from the truck. The trespass penalty is $510.
All right, I'm gonna go take a look at the decoy, make sure it's not, yeah, I'm gonna grab, yeah. We did not find any kind of hit on the deer. I think that bump was there. I don't think they hit it.
This does not affect your hunting at this point, so you can continue to hunt and try to fill your tags. Okay.
This is what we're out here doing, catching people shooting at deer when they're not supposed to from a motor vehicle and wreck trespass. So all in all, so far successful patrol.
Bear hunting in late spring and early summer usually means you're in Canada. With no spring bear season in Michigan, conservation officers like District 3's Dwayne Boudreau are out patrolling for hunters setting their baits for the fall bear season too early.
It's illegal to establish the bait early, but it's also illegal to run off of that bait. To hunt from an illegal bait is illegal as well. So these guys that are doing it, you know, they all know. They're all working in cahoots together. It's a team effort. So they're all held responsible for running these bear early. And
in Michigan, baits can be set out 1 month before the season starts.
What we're looking at is strike baits. So these are houndsmen that are baiting near the roadway, and you can easily see their turnouts where they're parking their vehicle, and you know, you just follow the path in. Careful not to leave your own tracks behind, because we don't want to spook them out of there. But yeah, it's fairly easy to find them. Then to actually manage them and work them, it becomes a little more challenging because you got to actually catch them on site.
C.O. Boudreau checks on a few spots he suspects have been baited early.
Driving up here, you'll notice we'll be on a 2-track sort of gravelish road that easy to detect because they pull off the shoulder of the road, and you can see where the vehicles have pulled off. You look close enough, you see a pretty beat down foot trail. If it doesn't cross the road, pretty clear indication that it's a human trail and not a wild game trail. Right there. You can back up. Yeah, there's the trail right there. Doesn't look like a lot, but it doesn't cross the road, so we can tell that it's one way in and out. And game don't actually travel like that. You know, if that were a deer runway or an actual bear trail, it would actually cross the road. He's not coming out to check his mail. So we'll park up here and walk in. So the bait is tipped over, which is a good thing. That means they'll come back and they'll rebait it. Raccoons, a little bit of a bear track here. Smaller critters have been in here. Cleaned out.
C.O. Boudreau has checked on this spot before, so he decides to hang a trail camera in hopes of IDing a suspect.
Restrict the movement a little bit. Don't want anything to catch their eye.
The next illegal bait he checks on, C.O. Boudreau finds another empty log.
See the bear trails coming in and back behind you there. There's definitely activity in here. These are, it's definitely been hit since I was in here to check it. A lot of guys will actually do that as well with these baits. They rake up an area on the ground and get it soft so that they can capture a good paw. Because that's what they're looking for. They're looking for bigger bear.
And that's exactly what he finds at the next bait site.
Well, that's good to know. Same guy, 3 different spots. At least he's got the same bait source. Maybe somebody's having a sale on cereal. I don't know. But, a little buggy in here. A little cleaner site. I don't see all the litter that we had at the other spots, right? No fresh bear tracks though, so I'm assuming that looks fresh. It's raked. They probably baited that maybe this morning, maybe yesterday. Kind of hard to tell with the bait itself. It kind of compacted in there, but that looks kind of freshly raked up. So I'm gonna guess it was recent.
It's pretty well tore up. They're using this quite a bit.
Cracking down on bear baits being set too early is a high priority in Michigan's North Lower and Upper Peninsula.
And just shakes the corn out. And that'll keep the bears coming back for quite a while.
You can start baiting 31 days before the start of the season. In the UP, that means nothing until August 10.
A lot of times, more often than not, it's somebody that knows what they're doing. They know that they're going out there and cheating the system a little bit. And it really kind of grinds my gears a little bit because, you know, they're out there breaking the rules on purpose, trying to get a jump start on everybody else.
In District 2, Conservation Officer Bobby Watson has been monitoring one hunter who has been baiting early for over a year, but he hasn't been able to come face to face with the suspect. So he put out trail cameras and was able to get a photo ID.
I thought I could see brake lights and I put my binoculars up and it was him parked on the side of the road. And just as I put my binoculars on him, he hopped in his truck and he took off. Well, I went down to where he was parked, walked in, and there was a bait. And so I hung a camera on it and everything. And since then I've built the case up to the point where we can, you know, go in tonight, hopefully.
Armed with that knowledge, it was just a matter of Officer Watson tracking down the suspect. So he drove past the hunting camp to see if the suspect was around.
It's our place. Oh yeah, they're up. So I have a little bit of a history with this group, kind of familiar with them. You know, I've crossed paths with them once or twice and gotten a lot of tips on them. There's some information that our fellow officers have on them. And so I kind of had a feeling, you know, that this guy was going to be up on the weekends. They're from downstate. It's a good sign. They might be home tomorrow night. That's a good sign. All their dog boxes were filled with dogs, so we knew that somebody was there with the dogs. Didn't see a whole lot of trucks, which was a good sign, because I know that this guy is generally their caretaker, if you will. So we were hoping that it'd be just him. He might be out running tending baits right now. Or they're just out getting dinner or something.
Prior to the start of bear season, the state of Michigan conducts a one-day seminar designed to prepare hunters for bear season.
Some of the things that you want to really think about when you get out there is smell.
So we go through all the equipment they need, whether it's archery, rifle, what type of rifle, ammunitions, what type of arrows and broadheads to use and not use. We're going to go through baiting, what types of bait to use, what types of bait not to use, what's legal and not legal. We go through the whole shebang.
Just push it right off, swoop this off one, it'll sit there and feed.
Hunters can go years between drawing a tag, and park interpreter Ed Shaw knows it's easy to forget strategies when you don't do it every year.
Is what we're doing is how to adapt that deer hunting equipment over to hunting bigger game, such as bear hunters. And it's a lot of it's the same and a lot of it's different. And we're teaching them those tips and tricks.
They're like deer, they take the path of least resistance unless they're forced others.
You're walking path, pretty soon you'll notice bear poop on it.
The Outdoor Skills Academy is a mix of classroom and outdoors training. Shaw says you will get out of bear hunting what you put in.
And it is not a lazy sport. You're gonna put a lot of work. Bear hunting is a lot of work in baiting. If you're baiting every day for 31 days, by the end of the bear season, you're gonna be tired of baiting. And you should be.
Every winter, wildlife biologists with the Michigan DNR place radio collars on female black bears. The primary purpose of this monitoring program is to have female bears available to raise cubs that have been orphaned.
It's been found frequently that you can convince a female black bear to accept cubs from another bear that may have been killed for any number of reasons. So by keeping these bears on the air, we always have an option for cubs that lose their mother.
This 7-year-old sow had 4 cubs with her. Biologist Mark Borson was able to crawl within 10 feet before sedating the bear in order to work on the collar.
And she never stood up. She did raise her head. She turned and looked at me and then laid her head back down. And then she gave me a quick little glance when I injected her, as you might expect, and then laid down again. And I stayed right there. I just laid down in the snow and laid there for about a half hour until she went to sleep.
A lot of the dens that are checked are on private property, and landowner Lloyd Brown was excited to be part of the process.
The property has a lot of memories, and I think this is going to be one of our favorites because, you know, we've seen the bear on the cameras. We've seen the bear rarely, you know, when we've been out scouting or out hunting, and, you know, to be up close with the bear, and then there was 1 cub, then there was 2, then there was 3, then there was 4. So, I mean, it's absolutely awesome, and it's something I know myself, my wife, my children, you know, will cherish.
Data from these bear den checks also helps the DNR manage the bear population. Back in District 2.
Oh yeah, they're up. It's a good sign.
Conservation Officer Bobby Watson has trail cam photos of someone baiting for bears too early in the season. In Michigan, you are allowed to start baiting 31 days prior to the opening of bear season. After driving past the suspect's hunting camp, Officer Watson made plans to contact the suspect very early the next morning.
Running time, legal time to drop your dogs on bears is the same as shooting hours, so it's going to be a half hour before sunrise. So we wanted to beat them before they left their camp. We didn't want to try to find them out in the woods because you never know if you can track them down or not.
Shortly after 6 a.m., Officer Watson drove past the camp.
That's our guy right there. Yeah, it's him. How you doing? We tried to get to their camp before the sun came up and before they left, and luckily we beat them out of the camp. They were just getting ready to leave, so we got there another 10 minutes and we might have missed them. I got a couple questions for you real quick before you guys get going this morning. What's the deal with all your baits? Well, there's a couple baits up north here that we were seeing pretty early on this season.
As far as what?
Prior to the bait season.
Well, that wasn't ours then.
Okay.
The suspect didn't confess right away, so Officer Watson showed him the trail cam photos.
You want to look at them? That's not you.
What is this?
Carrying bait in.
Yeah, but where? What? What are you looking at?
We're looking at your trail that you walked to carry your bait in.
Oh.
Well, that's you, all right?
I don't see it.
You're saying that's not you. That's not a good picture there. But I mean, there you can see your face a little bit, and there you can see your face just fine.
Yeah, that looks like me.
That's you.
Or someone.
Yeah. Yeah. We had pictures of him going in with bait on his shoulder. We had pictures of him coming out without the bait. And then I have pictures of me going in and taking pictures of the bait site itself. So it was pretty obvious what he was doing. It's all time-stamped and everything.
He's ticketed for having bait out too early, which carries a $150 fine. Additionally, he can't hunt over the bait once the season opens, since it was established illegally.
And he even said it, you know, when I was talking with him, interviewing him, it gives him a head start. I'm just curious, just asking here, what's the purpose of baiting early, I guess, for you guys? Just to get a head start on it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Find bear.
Okay, yep. Everybody else in the area, they're not baiting until the 10th, a month before the season opens. and he's baiting prior to. So he's pulling in all those bears from the area and drawing them all into his baits, you know, so he's gonna have them and nobody else will. And it kind of bugs me because, I mean, everybody else is following the rules, and here's this one guy who's not.
You know, I tell people, I do a lot of talks at career day events and things of that nature, and I tell the young people, you know, it's the greatest job in law enforcement for sure. In my opinion, there's nothing better.
In Michigan's District 3, Conservation Officer Dwayne Boudreau had set up trail cameras in order to help identify who was setting up bear baits too early.
So it's an attempt to, to try to even the playing field. You know, we're out here enforcing rules. Rules are in place just to keep the game even for everyone else. And, it's unfair to those that are playing by the rules when you have others that are cheating.
A few days later, he went back to see if the cameras had captured anything.
Well, they didn't steal my camera. That's good news. Unless the bear was in here this morning, we can look for tracks. See if the bear actually came in this morning, and I guess we'll go look and see if we have any evidence.
He loads the memory card onto his laptop and scrolls through the photos.
Must have a bear because the bait was set when I put the camera in here, so. Well, there we go.
At another bait spot, Officer Boudreau pulls more photos of baits being established too early.
This guy's obviously just set the camera and set the bait.
Using the photos, Officer Boudreau IDs the suspect and makes a plan to head out on the first day of bear season in hopes of catching them using the illegal baits.
Couldn't pose for a better picture. And this guy's coming in at 5:20 in the morning. And this is self-incrimination at its finest right here. There is no arguing what they were doing. That's classic footage. And some very self-incriminating pictures of two suspects establishing the bait. I mean, it's frame by frame. These guys are building the bait station, so that worked out pretty ideal. Now it's just a matter of catching those guys in the field, hunting, and using those images as evidence against them.
On the morning of the season opener, Officer Boudreau stakes out a spot with an early bait and waits, but no one shows.
Well, that's disappointing.
Officer Boudreau decides to move on to another illegal bait spot. On his way, he runs into a hunter who says he thinks the guys Officer Boudreau is looking for are hunting in the Upper Peninsula.
Now, was that you that you drug the roads?
Yeah.
Is it? Okay.
I tried to.
Because I was like, who else is out here? Because
Yeah,
yeah,
that was me last night.
covered some miles.
Yeah. You got to get a tag once in 8 or 10
Right,
years.
yeah.
You want to try
Put the effort in.
Bear. I want to kill a 100-pound bear.
Right.
It ain't worth my time.
No, it's not. Not time and effort. There's a lot of effort that goes in.
He also told Officer Boudreau that he thinks they were training their dogs on the early baits prior to heading north to hunt. Using the early baits for training purposes is also illegal.
That whole group, according to the other hunters that we ran into, and they all know each other and know where they're all running. So they knew that they had a tag for the UP, and they trained here and then hunt in the UP.
Officer Boudreau was disappointed he didn't get a chance to contact the people he captured on camera, but he believes he'll have another chance next bear season.
Yeah, unfortunately, we weren't able to catch up with our suspects that has established those numerous baits that we found early, but they're still on the list.
Sounds like a shots fired complaint on Highway 89 on Butler Hill at a White Sulphur, where somebody shot some elk on the side of the road.
Opening weekend of Montana's big game season is always one of the busiest for Warden Brian Goldie. While working with other wardens on a case involving 2 poached mule deer, he gets a call to investigate a scene in Region 4, more than 50 miles away. It's not uncommon for a warden to drive 200 to 300 miles a day.
They're on the road shooting them, apparently, and we're a long ways away, which is typical of a game warden.
440, 495.
440.
This is 492 to respond to a report of a trespass with shots fired and at least 1 elk down.
Okay, yeah, I heard that. That's on the Kings Hill Highway, north of White Sulphur.
To the BB markers 7 and 8, I do have a deputy en route to help you secure the scene.
Yeah, I'm way out. I just left the Hurwitz Ranch, so it's going to be a long time, but I got the hammer down. Man, we are in the middle of nowhere. We're always in the wrong spot. And I thought this would be such a fun drive looking this country over. Gee, I thought we were going that way.
Go ahead, 473.
About an hour later, Warden Goley arrived at the scene.
Hi, guys. What's going on? Do we have an elk down?
We don't have an elk down, no.
Ask them where they were shooting.
Okay. Who's the owner of this truck?
My brother.
And where's he at?
He is coming up.
Okay, and what was he doing out there?
Hunting.
Okay. Do you guys have permission to be here?
It's state land.
Okay. This is state land?
Yeah, he's got my GPS.
Okay, wait here.
There is a state section right here. The boundary, you can see Ed's pickup is that pickup in the timber that kind of falls off the ridge there.
Okay, see it? Got it.
He talks with biologist Jay Colby, who was close to the scene when the call came in and was the first responder, and then hears from the person who called in the complaint of shots fired, which she believes came from this group on her private property adjacent to the state land.
There were elk on top of that grassy knob up there.
Yep.
And then I seen these fellas up there on the ridge line, or on the swale. This fella came in and talked to me, and then a little bit later there was a whole bunch of shooting in that canyon.
Okay.
Of the state ground.
All right.
After driving more than 50 miles across Montana's Region 4, Warden Brian Goley is talking to a group of hunters accused of shooting an elk on private property. But they say they are hunting public state land and no shots were fired.
So you guys all just pull over here, you see some elk, or you decide to go hunt state land and he goes out there? Is that correct?
Well, we saw him and we're going to try to call him down.
Okay.
They're not that far once we get down to that bottom down there.
Okay. All right. And did that happen or didn't it?
Nothing happened.
All right.
Kept seeing them up on top, and I don't think they're. Don't think they heard my cow call.
Did you guys go out there at all?
Yeah, we were all down there.
So were you there when they were shooting or not?
We didn't shoot.
Nobody shot?
No.
Is there anybody else
here?
Is there anybody else out there then?
There's a red truck is all we seen when we was walking out.
Yeah,
okay.
Right there.
I don't know who the hell
Okay.
that is.
Come over here for a sec. Okay, have you fired this gun today?
Nope.
Has any of these other guns been fired? See, here's...
Here's 270, but we were over on the Smith River.
Okay. So, did anybody in your group, including your brother, shoot?
Nope.
So there's no way that there could be an elk down up there?
You can check all of our guns.
Yeah.
Okay, so your brother is still down there?
His was shot today over on the Smith River. We saw a nice deer. He wasn't coming out, so I had him shoot into the water to try to spook him because he wasn't coming out.
Did you guys walk down there?
Yeah, we walked down there.
Okay, I'm new here, so if I'm asking you questions that don't seem like I know, it's because I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know the state land. I just got to the call because the sheriff's department called because the landowner said that there was an elk down and there was people shooting off the state land. So then that's why I'm kind of like the referee of hunting. So I'm going to come out here and I got to ask you guys questions to figure out what's going on.
Brian, I'm not lying to you. We have not shot. And these guys were with him.
All right.
Yeah, no.
No, he
never shot?
He's a stubborn bastard.
Yeah.
Okay.
He'll stay out there until dark.
Where have I run into you before? Have I?
No, you checked my license a few times.
Yeah, I know I've checked you somewhere.
Up on the river.
Yeah,
Yep.
fishing or something?
Yep.
Okay. Everybody has elk tags of that whole way? Okay.
I got a cow tag for over there.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna go find out why there's supposedly an elk down. I'll go to the spot where they said it was. If there's blood, something's up. Somebody shot. If you guys didn't shoot, then who did? That'd be my only question.
We were shooting over here.
But those elk were coming this way and not from over there, correct?
Right, they were coming down that draw where that red pickup is. They were starting to come down that draw.
Okay. Tell me where this elk is supposedly down at.
Warden Goldie then goes back to the complainant to get more details.
You look straight down, there's a rocky outcropping.
Yep.
Okay, in between there and the grassy swell, when I came here, there was a bull standing with his head in the trees.
Okay.
And there were cow elk on top.
Okay. So there's this all that timbered ridge, and then there's the grass on the far point. Is that where you saw the elk coming down? The grass, the top of the grass?
They were bedded in there, the cows, and then the bull was just a little bit this side of it.
All right.
And then the longer I watched, I just kept watching and watching, and pretty soon I could hear some shooting. I seen the bull laid down, and I heard some more shooting. I never saw any elk on this side of that sagebrush. They were all on the other side.
Okay.
It sounded like shooting in the canyon above.
As Warden Goldie is wrapping up his conversation, the lone hunter who remained in the woods came walking out.
Howdy, Dallas. It's Brian. I'm doing all right. All right, good.
What's your name, sir?
Brian Goldie.
I'm Dallas.
Yeah, I heard that your brother said that. Got a call from the landowner that was concerned about where you were shooting at the elk.
We haven't fired a shot.
Okay, well.
I got everything right here.
All right, and I have no doubt. I'm not calling you a liar at all. What I'm trying to figure out is, tell me exactly what happened so that I can go back to her and tell her.
All right, so what happened is my brother Ricky, he hiked down, we all hiked down together.
Okay.
We saw some elk up at the top.
Right up in the grass?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I heard an elk bugle and then branches snapping.
Wow.
And so I turned around and I was like, man, they're bugling. That's one of my favorite sounds in the whole world, man.
I gotta agree with you on that. Did anybody in your party shoot?
Nope, not one round.
Not one, no shots fired at all today. You didn't hear no shots, see no shots from your party?
I heard some really, but not from our party because it was too far away.
So were you in here when you heard shots?
Yeah.
Where did you hear?
Like he was coming from that way.
Down the road. Okay, can I see your gun, make sure you didn't shoot?
Yep.
All right, I just had to double check because she's saying you guys shot. You put that all back, it's all yours? You got any empties with you or anything like that?
I might. I remember feeling one earlier. I don't think it's from the OT6, so.
Okay.
Yep.
What is it from?
22-250.
Okay.
And that's from a couple of days ago.
Okay. All right, you do have an elk license, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Back at the trucks, Warden Goldie checks everyone's licenses and firearms.
All right, you guys. One of those kind of volatile state lands issues. I don't know. I know there were shots fired up here.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think that the landowner had assumed that it was you guys because you're out here hunting and there's elk.
No, before she showed up, we did hear shots as we were walking down in.
Okay.
But it was down there. I can't tell you if it was on that side of the highway or this side of the highway.
All right. Let me just double check each one of your guns so I can say I did it, so I can say, nope, I believe these guys didn't shoot, okay?
Okay.
That way we'll have that part of it all straightened out. Are you carrying any empties in your pocket?
Nope.
What are you shooting?
270.
At what? You're right, you did shoot that yesterday.
Yeah.
I believe you.
Can you tell me the time?
No.
That was pretty good.
What are you shooting?
7.
How's it work for you?
I don't know, 6 times.
You got any empties?
Nope.
Okay. Put it back. Do you have any shells? Okay, put it away safely.
The hunter's story checks out, so Warden Goley lets them on their way and wraps up with a caller.
What happened is these guys came back, and he came back. They saw the elk were coming. The brother told him, hey, Dallas, the elk are still coming. Dallas ran back down there, and that must have been about the time you came up. Well, and that's the thing. I can't find any brass. I can't smell it on their guns unless they switch guns.
Yeah. Well, it'd been probably close to an hour.
Well, that could be.
Yeah. So I'll just go up there and maybe I can get somebody to go with me and we'll go up both sides of the draw.
Would you call John if you find anything?
Oh, you better believe
And
it.
then I'll give John everything.
They check the land for a dead elk over the next couple of days, but never find one.
Do they have a suspect or what?
Apparently there's some cars still down there.
All right.
It's been a long day for Montana Warden Brian Goley. After checking on a trespass complaint, he gets a call to check on another group of hunters. 2 dead mule deer are being gutted on the side of the road near private property.
Do you have a actual complainant that is seeing these vehicles, got license plates? I'm just worried that I'm going to go all that way and they'll be gone when I get there.
They are still there watching the people. They have license plates. They've taken pictures.
I copy. I'm en route.
Back in his truck, Warden Goley drives 35 miles to the scene in Region 4. It's pitch black out when he arrives. Once there, he finds 2 mule deer properly tagged.
They're all tagged up?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. Did you walk out there, Hunter Orange, the whole works?
Yep. Oh yeah. We were just right down there. Right down there, right we see the dark slips off.
So you just
got them right here about 200-300 yards, the first one.
So then you drove up here and drug them over?
Yep. Yeah, and then we drug them right here. Yep.
Okay.
But the area the deer were taken is a mix of private ground and block management ground. In Montana, there are over 7 million acres of block management.
It's a huge privilege for us to have these areas because it's the landowners' good graces that we're there.
It's a cooperative program between landowners and the state, which gives hunters access to land to hunt. But not all areas are open to all kinds of hunting.
Some areas only allow certain species. Some may limit whether you can shoot a buck or a doe or a cow or a bull. It varies from block management to block management.
The owner of this BMA only allows elk hunting, not mule deer hunting.
It all works, but it all takes, you got to take your part. The hunters got to take their part too.
Yep. Right.
And we got to do things right. Now, why don't you take the tag off this one? Whose buck's this?
That one's mine.
Okay, let's check that real quick.
Okay.
And then,
yeah.
Why don't you grab your tag too?
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, you bet.
Is there anything else I need to know, though, you guys? Is this it?
This is all we've done.
Okay, no elk have been shot, nothing like that?
No elk, no.
Just these deer and that's it.
Okay, I'm gonna go back and call the landowner and we're gonna check into this real quick and then I'll be right back with you to make sure of what they want to do, okay, you guys?
Okay, yeah.
Nobody says you're a criminal, nobody says you're a poacher, but again, we're gonna have to figure out and the worst thing that could happen here is you could get a $135 ticket and your deer taken, okay?
Yeah, and if that's what it gotta be, that's what it's gotta be.
Yeah,
so.
I don't think you'll lose your privileges, but that's up to the judge. If you pay your fine, I doubt you will, but as long as there's nothing else that you're not telling me.
No, nothing.
Okay. Let me go back and make a quick call, and we'll be right with you guys. Your guns are in your vehicles, and you're not carrying any guns?
Nope.
Okay. You guys, I just have to ask.
Nope.
How many times did you shoot at them?
Twice.
You're both off the road, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I'll be right back.
Yep.
So this is Ben's, right?
Ben, yeah, you need his number?
Well, I'm curious, do they want to charge him or do we know?
I don't know. Ben is touchy about mule deer. He doesn't even allow it on the block management area.
Okay, well that's what I need to know, and I need to have him tell me. I'm assuming he wants something done.
As night turns into early morning for Warden Brian Goley, he is investigating 2 dead mule deer taken on block management land in Montana's Region 4. The landowner allows elk hunting on the BMA, but not mule deer hunting, something these 2 hunters were not aware of.
We came from Helena, and we came all the way over from Townsend. We were coming down, and we were looking, you know, just, we've never been in this area before.
Okay.
So we see everything that says, you know, we see where it says no hunting, leased, you know, it's leased, right?
Okay.
Yeah, we see all the signs everywhere.
We see those signs down.
Right.
We come down here, we come up, we see the deer here.
We don't see anything.
We don't
on
see
this
any
side.
sign. We're looking. We don't see any sign there, so we went over and, you know, we shot a couple deer.
Warden Goley waits for more information from dispatch and the landowner before ultimately deciding how to handle things.
Did the landowner call this in and wish to file a complaint? Did they want it investigated? Exactly, I can't call them from here, so I'm wondering exactly how it came in and what their wishes were.
After talking with the landowners, the dispatcher informs Warden Goley that they would like to press charges for hunting mule deer without permission.
Just for future reference, there is no deer hunting whatsoever.
That's what we thought. Understood. Here's the deal. The landowner says absolutely no mule deer hunting because of the way they have their ranch and public hunting. And in outfitting, he actually doesn't let anybody shoot mule deer anywhere on his ranch. They let him. They'll let you shoot elk though. Okay. What we have here is a misdemeanor citation for hunting without landowner permission. It's no different than driving down the road and speeding. The only difference is it doesn't go on your driving record. You will only have a record that this occurred with FWP.
Okay.
You will not have a criminal record. If I check your record, it won't show up if you apply for a job or do something like that, unless it was a felony or such. So, but you still will have a criminal record with FWP, but it will only be for minor misdemeanor, first offense, hunting without landowner permission.
Okay.
Now, I know it's a big deal to you guys.
Yeah,
very
big deal. Right.
Very big deal.
Yeah.
And I know that you're taking this very serious, and I also know that I will never see you under these circumstances again.
No.
It is not up to me whether you get a ticket or not. It is up to the landowner.
Okay.
Okay, they have press charges to anybody, not just you, so they're not discriminating. It doesn't matter who it is.
Okay.
And they are in a public hunting program, and both programs. So we're working really closely with them to make sure everybody's following the rules so that we can keep the land open to public hunting.
Absolutely.
And so what's going to happen here today is that you're each going to get a citation for hunting without landowner permission. For each of you, I've confiscated a deer and a deer A tag. Do not shoot another deer this year.
Okay.
Okay, you're done.
Yep.
Now you can go elk hunting, you can go waterfowl hunting and bird hunting and all that. I did not mark the box.
So if I have a deer B tag, I can't shoot it?
You can.
Oh, okay.
Yes, you can.
Okay.
You just can't shoot a buck.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a great learning experience, and we move on from it. I will donate the deer to a needy family.
Okay. Great.
So it's exactly
That's
right.
fine.
Exactly.
I don't have any issues with that.
And I do truly appreciate the honesty, and I believe that you guys made a minor mistake, but we just have to deal with it this way because the landowner filed this complaint.
You know what?
That side's just
We're just getting a GPS with that chip.
And thank you,
We're gonna
because
have
the
that
money
back.
you spent on the citation would buy that GPS unit.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter in the state of Montana if it's posted or not. You still have to have permission to hunt regardless of what you're hunting, even gophers.
The hook and line walleye season on the inland waters of Michigan's Lower Peninsula always opens the last Saturday in April.
Tonight at midnight is a walleye opener, pike and muskie, trout as well. But we're on a river, the Tidwassee River. It's connected to the Saginaw River and the Saginaw Bay. There's a pile of walleye in here. They've just got done spawning.
In the hours leading up to the start of the season, conservation officers in Michigan's District 6 patrol the Tidwassee River to make sure no one is getting a head start.
We're protecting the resource till midnight when season opens, keeping it fair for everybody.
This CO is primarily looking for people using artificial lures, as they aren't allowed until the season officially opens.
So in this stretch that we're on, the regulation right now is a single hook and worm only. You can't be using minnows or any artificial baits or spinners or blades or beads, and that's to protect the spawning walleye. So ultimately, you can be down here sucker, carp, catfishing, but you can't use any artificial lures.
Just a few minutes into a shift, this seal spots someone on the bank fishing with a lure.
Just got started?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fair enough. Where are you from?
About 100 feet that way.
Okay. What you fishing for?
Walleye.
Walleye?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you familiar with the rules and regulations with walleye? Yep, with walleye fishing.
Oh, is it not spoons yet?
Yep, it's not. Yeah, it's not seasoned yet.
The fisherman is using a spoon, which is not allowed.
Here's what I'm doing. I'm issuing a simple citation for attempt to take walleye closed season. Okay.
Now, okay, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm only going to seize the lure because the lure. Well, here's the good thing. I'm giving you your rod and reel back.
That is
okay?
good, yes.
You're not going to lose that. I could keep that as evidence. I don't need to.
Thank you.
You're going to get your fishing license back tonight, so if at midnight you want to fish, you can do so, okay?
Okay.
And you can
Sounds good.
continue to fish the rest of the year.
He's ticketed for fishing in a closed season.
Say they caught, is it strict? It's catch and release. Because that's
Okay, so what they're doing, the only thing you can use right now is a small shanked hook with a worm. Okay, you can't have any lure, artificial lures, no minnows, and you can't be targeting walleye. You can't be targeting muskie, so you have to wait till the species is open.
So if they were to catch walleye,
they would have to immediately release them.
Yep. Catch and release only.
Correct.
Just up the river, this seal spots another shore fisherman with lures.
So what can you tell me about the rules and regulations with the lures?
No jig heads allowed.
Okay, what else?
Catch a walleye, immediate release.
Okay. Well, there's no artificial lures of any kind. You can't have the Rapala, you can't have the spinner. Any kind, absolutely. It's single hook and worm only. Okay?
Is that something that changed?
Nope, it hasn't changed in forever.
Really?
Forever. Yep, absolutely. I've been on 15 years and it's been that way for 15 years.
But
Yeah.
I talked about even last year, sucker fishing.
Sucker fishing, you're okay. Now you can fish with a single hook and a worm.
Really?
No blades, beads, spinners, rapalas, jig heads, any spoons, twister tails, all that stuff. Can't be using it. And here's the thing. With the number of people that are out on the banks, so you look upstream right now, you can see all the people, the boats that are on the river, everybody's waiting till midnight, okay? It's pretty strict enforcement on it. I'm gonna be flat out honest with you. It's something we enforce. We've got miles and miles of river, and as difficult as that is, it's something we have to address. So here's the good news. You've got a couple nice fishing rods. I'm not gonna take your fishing rods, okay? I'm gonna take the Rapala off the line. I'm gonna take the spinner that you just pulled off the other rod. I'm gonna take those because those are my evidence. I don't need to take your rods and reels. That way when midnight hits, you can still fish, but I've gotta take the two lures, okay?
He confiscates the two lures and issues another ticket for fishing a closed season. Patrolling on land are Sergeant Ron Kimmerly and Officer John Byers. Just a couple of hours before midnight, they spot a group fishing and try to get as close as possible to see what kind of equipment they are using and what kind of fish they are catching.
This guy's got a fish on, I think. He's got a fish, Sergeant. Ready? Get on the far right.
Yeah, it's a catfish. Yeah, they're bottom fishing.
The group is okay, so the officers move on and get ready for the next day.
It would appear to be a treble hook, so that means they're bottom fishing, but they had a strange weight above the hook, and it was yellow, so I couldn't really tell if that was, if it was silver, then it'd be a weight, but it was yellow, so that kind of drew my attention to it, and we saw them pull a catfish out, and then they immediately released it. So.
After a long day and night of patrolling the day before the walleye season opens in Michigan's District 6, a group of officers is back out opening day. Officers Quincy Goenlock and Ken Lowell are on the Tittabawassee River working amongst the thousands of anglers, making sure everyone is legal and safe.
Check licenses for anyone fishing and then life jackets, and we'll let you get back to it. Did you measure them or just eyeball them? How we doing, guys? Good. 5, 6, 7, 8. Thank you. Any luck?
We'll be coming alongside you if you can reel up for us.
Just need a little license for everybody, guys. 4 life jackets. Nothing. All right. Got a little work to do.
Yeah.
A little work to do.
A lot of work.
Yeah. Okay. Well, they bend the rod too, right?
Would you buy one of everything?
Yeah, I got them all.
Yeah.
What's the smallest fish you got?
I think 16.
Good deal. Thank you.
Thanks for enforcing, the laws of great outdoors, man.
Right on. Appreciate it.
A little bit too much to see people abuse it.
It is an uncharacteristically slow start, as most boats only have a fish or two. On land, working the boat launches, officers Will Brickle and Joe Myers are seeing a small increase in activity.
Did you guys do pretty well right at midnight then?
About 12:07, we caught the first fish.
It's not bad.
You know how big they have to be when you're around here?
15.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're good.
So you guys had a pretty good day.
Yeah, that's the one I'm probably gonna want to take a look at. I'll use my ruler just because I'm comfortable with it. That is, you guys are right there, aren't you? Man. Yeah, he's 15.
That's a good one.
That's what they look like.
Okay, that's 1, 2, and 3. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, check that one right there and this one. 15, just like you said.
You know you can't.
Oh yeah, you got it. I know.
Oh man, oh that's good.
Yeah, he's good. He's past the 15. He's past the 15, so.
Yep.
Back on the boat, officers Goenlock and Lowell are still out on the river, where the daily possession limit is 5, and they must all be at least 15 inches in length.
Can I see those fish real quick? Are they in that cooler? All right, pull them right over here. And what's the smallest one you got?
It was probably what, 13 and a half, 14 to 20? Yeah, 13.
Okay.
Way up there by Milwaukee.
So the other 2 are legal, I assume, and then the other ones you say is a 13-incher.
Yeah.
Where did you put in, where'd you launch at?
Right at Mouth Marina.
Mouth Marina. I'm the Saginaw?
Yeah.
Okay. So you come from there, came down here?
Yeah, we drifted all the way down, yeah.
Okay.
The fishermen say they caught this fish on the Saginaw River, which has different restrictions. There, the daily possession limit is 8, and they must be 13 inches in length. But you can't keep a fish less than 15 inches on the Saginaw River and go immediately fish on the Tittabawassee.
So we're right at 14?
Yeah.
14 and a quarter?
We knew he was over 13, that's why,
Right on. Yeah. Do you understand where I'm coming from with the fish?
I understand
okay.
now.
And then the rule's been in place for a little while now.
But
I understand where you're coming from.
I know.
But
we fish both sides of it all the time.
I know.
Hey,
The thing is, you can't have this fish up here.
You're saying we should put that fish to the car.
Yeah, you can't have it here.
Okay.
This is what I'm saying.
Okay.
If you would have launched up for the Tittabawassee, came down and fished, got your limit or whatever,
right,
and you just motor straight on back through, you're fine because you're not fishing in a closed area. That's acceptable. But once you drop a line in the closed area, now you have to follow under these regulations. Measured out 14 and a quarter inches. We're in an area where it's restricted. The minimum limit is 15 inches. Unfortunately for him, he said he was fishing down off of the Saginaw River where it's legal to have a 13-inch walleye with a limit of 8, but in this area it's close to that size limit. So we ended up being issued a citation for having unsized fish in a restricted area.
The fish is confiscated and the angler is ticketed for possessing an undersized walleye. The officers think they have the same situation a few minutes later while checking this boat of 3.
How you doing, guys?
Good, how about you?
Good. Any luck?
Maybe
And a stick.
All right, so you got a fish on board or not?
Yeah.
Okay, let me take a look at that. Don't let him out of there. How big is it?
Just over 13.
13?
Over. He's
Just
about
over
14.
Where'd you catch him?
Right up there.
All right. You know what the limit is out here? Size?
13?
15. Did you think that this center street was the center street where you could fish up from?
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's the Saginaw River.
What's the center street where you can fish up from?
On the Saginaw River.
On the Saginaw River. You're on the Tittabawassee.
Yep.
That is our fault.
Right on. You got, who caught the fish? You did? Okay, take a look at licenses real quick. You guys?
I'm 16.
16?
Yep.
Okay.
While C.O. Lowell ran the fisherman's information, C.O. Goenlock remeasured the fish and found the short fish wasn't short after all.
Adam.
What?
Raymond.
This is the only fish they have?
Yeah. That's 15 and a half, right?
It's 15 and a half inches.
Well, they should be fine, huh?
Yep. Lucky them.
Which one of you fellas measured that fish?
We got our tape measure.
How wide's the bottom of a bucket?
We think about 12 inches. Yeah.
You know, would you believe me if I told you that fish is over 15 inches?
I hope so. I thought it was, yeah.
Okay, well it is. So you're not in trouble, which is good, right? But make sure you realize that you gotta have them 15 here.
Okay.
Know before you go.
Yeah. And don't measure with a bucket.
Yeah, don't measure with your foot. So.
Thank you. Have a good day, fellas.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
License, all right? Okay. All right.
Take it easy.
Yeah,
Be
you
careful.
too.
The start of Michigan's walleye season means a lot to the cities and areas around the heavily fished rivers.
People fishing this water system right now that have come from all over the state. They come here and support the local businesses, the local economy, the marinas, the party stores, the restaurants, the hotels, the city of Freeland that hosts the Walleye Festival. The resource of our walleye is huge to our local economy.
It is a heavily patrolled time of year in Michigan's District 6. This conservation officer is on the Tittabawassee River, making sure everyone is playing by the rules.
Okay, and how many fish have you caught?
5.
And how many have you caught?
4 or 5. We've had a bunch of throwbacks.
Okay. And how many did you keep?
We should have 4 or 5 apiece in there.
Okay. And what are you guys fishing for right now?
Walleye.
Okay. So somebody has a limit on the boat and somebody doesn't. And we've got both of you fishing, right?
Right.
With 9 fish, that means one of them had 5 and one of them had 4. I asked them which individual had 5, which had 4, and they were unable to answer me, showing the lack of responsibility to know who caught what and who possessed what. Okay, so let's take a look at the fish. And I got in the cooler, counted the fish, and they ended up having 11 fish, which went on to show the maybe the excitement they had or the lack of responsibility to know who was keeping what and how many fish they had total. So in fairness, I have a job to do, right? And you guys have a responsibility as anglers, right? So what, in fairness, what do I do? What would you do? You're in my shoes.
Good morning.
The Michigan DNR works extremely hard to keep a healthy walleye population.
The reasons we plant walleye is we're trying to restore lost populations. So that's number one goal. We'd like to rehabilitate degraded populations, and other places will stock to provide an additional recreation opportunity or to improve a fishery.
In late spring, biologists and volunteers electrofish the Muskegon River to collect walleye. Ripe walleyes are kept for spawning.
So we'll strip all the eggs out of the girl. We'll fertilize with the male immediately after.
From there, the eggs go to a hatchery for about 3 weeks. Once hatched, they are moved to one of 98 rearing ponds the state manages.
A 1/4-inch fish, we put 1 million of those in here today, and they're going to be in here for about 38 to 42 days before we harvest them.
Volunteers from clubs like White Lake Area Sport Fishing Association assist with fertilizing the pond.
We wanted to improve the fishing in this area, and so the club was actually formed for this purpose.
Help from the clubs is essential for us because they're local and they can help us with the weekly activities here.
From the rearing ponds, the walleye are eventually moved to lakes and rivers throughout the state. It takes 2 to 4 years for them to grow to be about 15 inches in length.
Nine, 10, 11, eh?
We're one over.
Working the walleye opener in Michigan's District 6. This conservation officer has 2 fishermen with 11 fish in their boat. The daily limit for walleye is 5, so these guys have one too many.
They were both issued citations for possessing over-limit of walleye, and they got to keep their fishing gear and their fishing privileges, and hopefully it was an honest mistake.
Each was ticketed, as neither angler knew who caught the 11th walleye. The fish were seized for evidence and later donated to a local food bank. Later in the evening,
Well, how many?
Just one.
Just one. Okay.
the guys in this boat say they have just one fish. But this officer doesn't buy their story. He thinks this is their second trip out on opening day.
It can be very common for some of the guys to go out at midnight, catch a limit or close to a limit of fish, and then come back out during the daytime hours, late in the day, and attempt another limit of fish, which would be a double limit. I'm going to ask you a question, okay? And how you answer me is going to determine how we're going to move forward on this whole situation, okay? Let's talk about the other fish from last night. Guys, I'm not going to play games. You shoot me straight, I'm going to shoot you straight. If not, we're dealing with boats and gear and a bunch of other stuff. Okay? How many?
5.
No, 5 for you, and how many for you?
4.
At first they say they have 9 total, but after rethinking their answer,
What did we do last night? We got 10 last night. We didn't have 9. We had 10. If we got 10 last night, then I had 5 last night, and then I got the 1 today. So that would make 6.
They ended up having 11 fish after I questioned them about fishing last evening and who was still fishing even though they had a limit.
this officer goes with them to confiscate their fish. Tickets are issued for taking and possessing an over-limit of walleye. The fish are taken to an evidence freezer and later will be donated to a local food bank.